Hello, this is my review of the book Pygmalion. Pygmalion is a play by George Bernard Shaw, named after a Greek mythological character. It was written in early 1912. The play consists of 5 acts. Before the first act, there is prologue where author tried to emphasize the main problems of the century and of his society. And after the fifth act, we have afterwards, where author makes some conclusions and explanation. So let's begin with the first act. The first act begins with that people are finding shelter from the rain. Here is a family of Ainford Hills. It consists of Mrs. Ainford Hill and her children, her daughter Clara and her son Freddie. This family is waiting for a cab. Then Eliza comes. Eliza is a seller of flowers. She wants to sell all her flowers. Then Mr. Pickering comes. Mr. Pickering is a phonetician. He is good at Indian dialects, and Eliza wants him to buy some flowers. All this time, a strange man is noticing and noting something. That is Mr. Pickering. That is Mr. Higgins. Mr. Higgins is a phonetician of English. He can guess where the person are from, and everybody is shocked to when hear his guessing. So Mr. Higgins and Mr. Pickering are glad to meet each other, and they have been dreaming to get acquainted for a long time. So the first act ends with that Eliza takes a cab. The second act is held at Higgins. He has a conversation with Mr. Pickering, but it is interrupted by Mrs. Peirce, the housekeeper of Higgins. She says that a strange girl has come. It is Eliza. Eliza wants Mr. Higgins to teach her English because he has admitted that her pronunciation is awful. Henry doesn't want to give lessons to the girl. Even girl wants to pay big money, but he doesn't want to give these lessons. So then Mr. Pickering bets with Mr. Higgins whether he can manage to make her a lady, to become her lady, and it is a dream of Eliza to become a lady and to start working at florists. Then Mr. Doolittle comes. Mr. Doolittle is the father of Eliza. He wants to get some money for his girl. Two men don't know whether to give him money or no, but they have given him £5. And the only person who really worries about the future of the girl is Mrs. Peirce. She burns all the clothes of Eliza and gives her new one. The third act is held at Mrs. Higgins. Mrs. Higgins is the mother of Henry Higgins. He wants to to introduce Eliza to her mother, and um, Eliza comes to her place, and also the family of Ainford Hills comes to her place. So everybody communicates, and everybody realizes that Eliza is cleverer than Clara Ainford Hill, and the result of the work of Higgins is the results are seen. So he's happy. And Freddie, the son of Ainford Hills, falls in love with Clara. So this was the third act, and the first act is in the first act. Eliza has returned home from the ball. She's very tired, and Mr. Pickering congratulates Mr. Higgins on his winning the bet. Eliza has heard this. She is very upset. She really doesn't understand why they have done this, and she's angry. She threw the slippers at Higgins, and he doesn't understand why she's angry. He cannot understand and realize the feelings of this girl. It's a pity. So I think and that this man is heartless and cynic, and Eliza says him that he is heartless and cynic. So the last act, the fifth act, is held at Mrs. Higgins. Her son comes and says that he cannot find Eliza. He wants to call the police, but mother tries to persuade him not to do this. Then Mr. Doolittle comes and he announces that he's going to get married, and after all that, Mr. Higgins decides to tell all the truth to Henry, and to say that Eliza is there. And Eliza comes to the room, and Eliza and Mr. Higgins have a conversation. This conversation is useless because Eliza says that she wants to get married, and she wants to marry Mr. Higgins, but he cannot love. He is heartless. He is cynical, and he's